You know, it's wonderful the synchronicities that we always talk about in the music that was brought today, and the message from Cherie was just wonderful because it actually ties in to what I wrote about. You guys have all heard my stories of I write a sermon or a message and then Spirit says, we want you to change it. Well, at 7:30 this morning, that happened. I was like, are you kidding me? I'm already prepared. They're like, no, you're not. That's not what we want you to speak on. So at 7:30 this morning, I was being dictated another sermon. When we ask for growth, life provides situations that permit that progress. The caveat is that we can't grow and still remain in the same condition.
True that.
We'll be moved out of our comfort zone because that's what growth entails. If you stay where you are, that's not growth. There must be an expansion. There must be a stretching of your consciousness in order for you to develop more depth, in order for you to develop more spiritual strength. In our life experiences, there are times when life is good, as we say. And then turmoil emerges. Now, as metaphysicians, we know that we call forth developments in our life, but it's not necessarily a conscious choice that we've made or conscious effort that has happened. So you may ask, well, why would I call forth experiences that don't give you the warm fuzzies? Why would I call forth something that's going to make you go, oh man, are you serious? Well, I remind you of tenet number 6, which is what? I affirm soul growth is the purpose of life. Our soul knows what we need to grow, but when turmoil appears in our life, we're quick to say that we're doing our best. I'm doing everything that I'm supposed to be doing, and I don't deserve to have these problems, which actually are growing opportunities. We're being put to the test. The universe is putting us to task. Why? To see if we can put into action the knowledge that we acquired in our life experiences. See, when you can put your action or your knowledge into action, then it turns into wisdom.
Yes.
That's when you become wise. But remember, what we're doing or thinking now does not shape today. It doesn't shape today. Previous actions and previous thoughts produce what you're experiencing today. It's what's happened in the past. Present conditions are the learning tools that you need in order to grow, in order to progress on this thing we call the spiritual path. With unpleasant experiences, we must not lose sight of the omnipresence of God. Because God is everywhere. There is nowhere where he is not. Good is at the essence and is the essence of all things, all events, and all of the experiences that we face. See, when you maintain an attitude of gratitude, you have to do that in the bad times as well as in the good times. Your faith isn't being tested when everything is going great in your life. Your faith is being tested when it appears that you have uncomfortable circumstances surrounding you or turmoil surrounding you. That's when you're really being put to task. Can you not only talk the talk, but can you walk the walk? If you're experiencing unpleasant circumstances in your life, you can be assured it is not God's will. He's not out to get you. Trust me. He's not out to get you. Your experience could be the result of poor choices that you've made in the past. Again, I always tell you, it always comes back to where? It always comes back to you. You're the common denominator in everything in your life. You are the common denominator. And it's about taking responsibility for your life. But the good news is this. Even during seeming times of turmoil, or opportunities for growth, I'd rather call them, there will be some advantage as a result if you allow yourself to find God within that turmoil. Mm-hmm. If you allow yourself to find God within that turmoil. Remember, our Creator is omnipresent. Wherever we are, God is. And what? And all is well. Now, I so acknowledge that sometimes that's hard to say with complete confidence when our world has been turned upside down. But in everything, I remind you, you must be able to give thanks. It's the life of a metaphysician. It's the path that we're walking. Now, we do not consciously call forth disease, conflict, and annoyances. And if you did, we'd call you foolish or masochistic. One of the two. Nevertheless, those circumstances do sometimes appear, and we understand that they are there to train us or to groom us for our soul growth. Your life experiences, everything that happens to you, is about growing your soul, about mastering your experiences on the physical realm. So I remind you, whatever it is that you're going through, to bless the experience. Do not curse it, because remember, as you think it, so it is. So when you bless an experience, you have that circumstance or energy of blessing around it. When you curse the experience, what energy do you have around that? The cursing. You have to be able to come from inside out. You have to be able to live from the inside out. I've talked about that before. You have to be able to look at it and say, you know what? It's okay. It's okay. How many times I've told you this is not a path for wimps. You're going to walk this path as a metaphysician. It is not a path for wimps. You will get tested. You will get pushed. You will get challenged. Hello. Welcome to the life of a metaphysician. But we come from a point of knowledge. We come from a point of understanding. And that's what helps us to see what's going on. When you can surrender, when you can remove yourself, when you can step back and say, okay, God, what are you trying to tell me? Everything you should consult God with. Spirit, higher self, creator, whatever. I don't want to offend anybody. I want to be politically correct with everybody in here. But I had you guys say God last week and nobody melted, so it must be okay to say God. You should consult him for everything before you make any decisions. I read somewhere that says if something is too small to take into prayer, it's too small to worry about. Too small for prayer, it's too small to worry about. It's not even something you need to be thinking about. Always consult your Father on what you need to be doing.